Thank you guys all for coming here. I wanted to talk to you about my experience of observing Ramadan. I could almost taste the salt from that looming Atlantic, and seeing my country's borders tear at my ankles. I could almost. Istanbul sang to me in the rows of Nike sneakers and leather sandals stacked outside. The beautiful barefoot women of Rabat chatted with each other, veiled with loose cloth and awe-striking color. Perhaps I was still 17 and yet to fly over that insistently large ocean, but in my rampage to find culture in uniform Idaho, Google Maps had brought me to a modest, stucco Islamic center, my cultural wonder of the world. I remember in 7th grade when I was told of Nelson Mandela's acts of terrorism during apartheid. Wait, not all terrorists are Muslim? I remember how the morning my teacher showed us a picture of Palestinians applauding on 9/11, and then the video of Washington, D.C. students cheering after bin Laden's death was a morning of reassessing myself. I remember in world history when, after seeing photos of masses pressing their bodies to a dirty street, bowing to a hidden city in unheard of unity, I found myself captivated by Islam. Here's a photo just like the one that struck me when I first learned about Islam. Let me pass that around. So I was going to observe Ramadan and go to a mosque for a month. Why? No, I had no intention of converting. I wanted to test myself. I wanted to apologize for a childhood prejudice. I needed to understand Muslims. And as you can see, Muslims take up a huge percentage of the world religions, 21%, as you can see in the graph. However, while observing Ramadan, on my second week at the mosque, a woman tried to correct me like a mother, inquiring, "Where's your hijab? For you to cover your hair. Where is it?" And I disjointedly replied that I didn't have one. I had failed. My affair at this mosque started with a simple whitewashed foyer, inhabited by animated men offering from their box of dates. As I crept inside, the stares were copious. I was doing something wrong. Was it my pale skin and Western clothing? I swear I was covered wrist to ankle. Was it my showing hair that I apprehensively yanked into a tight plain bun? Was I just so obviously lost? Please, staring men, realize that I'm terrified to be here, terrified that I am offending you. Oh, no, look at that. They're looking at me because I was cluelessly going through the men's entrance. I suppose there is something suppressing about the ways of this mosque. The women were much more formally dressed, piling into our tiny partitioned room. Outside, our shoes were sprawled on the lawn, only a shelf provided for the men. Inside, the eon was a wall away, a crackling intercom giving the prayer. Nonetheless, there is something utterly mystical when an outsider looks at the discrimination of another as purely an educational marvel. Yet I, the girl that intended to understand and give credit to all philosophies and cultures, could not cover my head when the man next to me didn't have to. I thrive in the technical world. Here, natural laws govern the complexities of the world into intriguing, interlocking formulas. There's beauty in how algebra, trigonometry, calculus, and all forms of math can mesh together and coexist in one equation. When faced with an intricate problem, the bigger the variety of methods I have for looking at the problem, the better mathematician I become. However, people's perspectives aren't formulated like logarithms or theorems. No natural law keeps society's opinions in check and harmonizing. There are no limits. Opinions clash. Thus, while variety is praised in the technical world, it leads to hypocrisy in the world of theology and philosophy. A mathematical perspective of life, my dream perspective, one that sees the legitimacy in practicing all cultures and methods, would be full of discrepancy, hypocrisy, and is unachievable. Maybe I'll go back soon and bow down, squeezing between gentle mothers and fidgeting children. However, at some point I will put on my shoes and be off, because my identity is a collection of only parts of others, singular to myself. It's important to get uncomfortable. In high school, children are constantly told to look at the most unimaginable traits humanity is capable of. The Holocaust is told without tears or cursing, the devastating earthquake without flinching. We are learned to be taught, to absorb without disbelief. To be an adolescent is to be naive and a perpetual student. While there are many cons to this setup, namely when an 18-year-old is given a ballot, or suddenly supposed to stand up for what's horrible, there are also many positive aspects to this perspective. It is a gift to be able to look at what is unbelievable or even horrible and then want to learn more about it. I am forever grateful to my 10th grade self for not laughing at the life-absorbing religion of Islam. I am forever grateful that I didn't get too uncomfortable when a peer demanded why in the world I wasn't eating during daylight hours on Ramadan. Becoming uncomfortable is incredibly important in order to learn about one's own identity. So, I was wanting you guys to think about a group that you do not understand. Perhaps the homeless, who walk the streets all day begging for money, yet do not get a job. The capitalist, who seems to exploit every worker in sight. Wonder about atheists, Mormons, Christians, Scientologists. See what's crazy as intriguing. What are people that you just don't understand why anyone would ever follow their beliefs? Write that group or person down on one of these pieces of paper, if you guys can think of anything. There you go. And I have some pencils for all of you guys. It might take you guys a minute, but just think about a group that you just don't understand why anyone would want to follow their ways. So now I want you guys to take the challenge of trying to understand that single group. Research the group, but then go farther. Try hard to get in contact with someone of those experiences. Worship next to them. Volunteer with them. Come in contact. If you work hard enough, one day you will honestly be able to say that you respect this group of people, and in the midst, you may see yourself finding out more about yourself. Thank you guys for having me today.